So Master Study, I'm not trying to sell it as my own. I'm not trying to enter it in our contest. I could potentially put this in Fabulous Forgeries, if you want. Although they're going to think it's kind of weird that there's 20 people submitting the same
Is it
thing.
actually a Thomas Kinkade?
It is actually a Thomas Kinkade painting.
But you could
And-
do something similar in the style
It
of.
looks AI.
Sure.
The roof.
But here's my point. Here's my point. We are going to do this faithfully to Thomas Kinkade. We're not going to change this. We're not going to try and do our own interpretation of this. We are going to try and do it as we see it. We're going to try and copy it. And when you do copy a master's painting, next week I'm going to bring in a book of John Singer Sargent's watercolors. And it's one of my favorite books. And his watercolors are just mind-bogglingly good. I mean, and they're over 100 years old, right? So if y'all don't know this, John Singer Sargent, I'm sure does anybody not know who John Singer Sargent is? Okay, so he was an oil painter, and he became famous as an oil painter. But he towards the end of his career, he gave up oil painting, and he didn't want to do any more aristocracy portraits, and he started traveling around the world doing watercolors. His watercolors today, when they show them, which is rare, they usually show them as a group, because he never sold them. He never sold them. So they're presented usually in groups of 100 at a time.
Doesn't a museum own them, like all of them?
So, sorry?
One museum owns all
Usually,
of them.
there's like 3 museums that own all of them. Anyway, going back to this, what we want to do is we want to learn some of Thomas Kinkade's processes. Now, because he's an oil painter, he's going to approach this very differently than we did. But the first thing we want to do is we want to look at this for compositional value. What is it about this painting that makes it a good composition? And what stands out to you as you look at this?
Has an S leading you into the picture.
I have an S composition. Very good. Absolutely. There's some diagonals working here, right? I can see them. The road is a little bit of a diagonal. The color scheme goes from dark left top to down to the center. My foreground is dark. My background is midground. My midground is light. Right? Did y'all? I don't want to give you too much, but do you see that?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. You just said the foreground's dark, right?
Yeah.
The midground's light.
Yeah.
And the background's medium.
Midtones. Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
And you have trees on both sides, give it that.
So what other elements to this stick out to you?
The light
Those
coming in
glaring
the
lights.
windows.
The lights, right? The lights seem to glow. He was the painter of light.
Oh, yeah.
That was his phrase. The painter of light is the lights are warm and they're inviting, right? The rest of the painting is cool. There are a few areas of warm light on the snow that are reflective, right? But it invites you into the painting. This makes me want to get into that house, right? I know the inside of this house.
He's warm and inviting. doesn't he?
Yeah, and I know the inside of this house is going to be full of Christmas. It's going to be full of warmth. It's going to be full of, good smells. It's going to have all the wonderful things going on. What else stands out to you? The obvious detail down to very discoverable detail.
Yeah.
So this is a really cool painting in one way where some of it's obvious. The things that stand out are up front. This light post stands out as a really cool. It's my first point of interest. It's the one in the most foreground. Lots of detail in there. It's got a nice wreath. It's got that warm light is what tells me this is my first point of interest. I'm coming down this road. First thing I see is this. Then I come over here, and this is a really good backing because this whole area, this dark area, makes this light area pop. It's important to understand that. So we're coming down this road. We get to this here, and it turns me to my second point of interest, the house, right? And there's so many little cool things about this house as you start looking at it. Some of it doesn't make any sense. Like this chimney, right?
Right.
Where is this room?
They're uneven. I struggled with
chimney for like 45 minutes.
Go all the way.
I'm like, that window, I should be looking into the chimney.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
there's some weirdness here.
I thought it was an AI.
Is it a turret?
Also,
Or is it a turret? Like
also I
around
want to point out, look how warm this color is, this right in here, as opposed to this one, as opposed to this one.
Yeah.
Right.
That's what's wrong
Look
with
at
it.
this one, and notice this. This is light yellow, dark around it. Darkest part, one of the darkest parts of the painting. Going forward, the house gets lighter, and the light inside gets what?
Softer.
More orange, more orange, more warm. So these lights are really, really warm right in here. There's my warmest lights, right? So what I'm doing right now as I'm looking at this is, before I've even started drawing, or I'm dissecting the painting. I'm learning what he did to set this up. How did he get the house to pop? Well, I've got this really dark background. So this area here sets up, and this area here make my house stand out.
All right, Terry, look at that roof line.
Yes, that roof is
Come on
driving
now,
me insane.
you're telling me that that's how he painted that roof?
Yeah, this is his roof.
That literally looks like an AI flaw.
It-
because
Me too.
Kind of does, doesn't it?
well, I couldn't take it. I had to straighten it out.
Me
You can
too.
do it anyway. Now, I will tell you,
Straighten it out.
I don't know why I say I will tell you. My intent when I did this myself was to ignore the structural conflicts in this house,
All right.
and I just painted it the way I saw it.
Okay.
Because all I'm looking to do is a master study. I am copying what he did. But I'm also discovering that what he wanted was a complex structure. That's what he was looking to build. Like, if you look at this, a lot of it doesn't make sense, and it probably would not exist the way it is.
Yes, right.
But if I had to dissect it, I would say that this is a facade, and the chimney is a heating chimney that goes down inside in the middle of a room.
Well,
Mhm.
the
What?
roof is on the
Rationalization.
right-hand side.
Yeah, well, that's how I read it. But if you look, the roof breaks this way and this way,
Right.
I know.
breaks this way. Then there's a back roof that breaks this way.
Yeah.
This little area back here makes no sense.
I think that's a turret.
And the one.
And
I
it's,
think
you're
that's a
right.
turret.
You're right. You're
But
right.
his roof line on the turret where it's in the front doesn't make sense.
The other thing that didn't make any sense to me is this area right here.
Yes.
I think the only reason why, I'm not even sure exactly why that is
I know,
there.
I would take that out.
And we also know that Thomas Kinkade didn't, like, this is not a photo reference.
Right.
He made
He
this
just
up.
made it up.
He just made this up.
He was on drugs.
Fantasy.
He was on some good drugs. The other thing, okay, so now that we've looked at that, let's look at, now we've lights in the house are different locations. We're looking at where the light is. So here's my light. My light is here. My light is here, right? And my light is here. Those are my lights all the way over to here.
Yeah.
My midtones. My midtones go, let's clear all these out. My midtones go here, oh, hello, here. The sky is actually probably a midtone, but I'm going to say all the way back over here. These are all my midtones. And probably a little bit right in here.
So, the shadows in the back on the right, in the distance are more houses.
This is a house.
That's a house.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and the cool thing about this, I mean, one of the things about his paintings are, the more you look at it, the more you're going to see in it. It's discovery.
I thought it was a church.
Me too, I thought it was a church, but it's a building, you definitely see
There's
it.
more church. Some type of a structure.
I don't know why,
I couldn't take it.
what about it makes it look like a church to you?
It looks like it sort of had a steeple.
It looks like, don't you think
This
it's
is, I think it's a chimney.
Bar in the back.
You think it's a chimney?
I think it's a chimney.
Just
I
I
think,
think it's church.
I think
It's a wide
you're looking at,
chimney.
yeah, I think if you look at it closely, you'll see that it follows this.
And is the front arch thing a gate or like a fence?
I don't know,
Or a barn door.
Or a
barn door.
Yeah.
but that's the structure.
Yeah.
And really, truly, it doesn't matter. What matters is
Right.
what matters is that it's an element to where the more you look at this painting, the more you realize, oh, there's something back there, and then it becomes this wonderland of discovery, right? All right. Some other things we got to look at is where's the detail. The detail is in the foreground, up here, in the stones. I've got a lot of detail in
The
there.
house.
The detail, there's a lot of detail all along the facade of the house. There's detail in these bushes and in my forward elements. But in my midground, or actually probably closer to background, look how little detail there is in those trees. And it's really helping to set off the detail in the trees and in the house. Look how little detail there is between here and here. So what that does for my brain is it tells me what's important. But it also sets up a mood, right? Because I feel like I'm in a snowy scene where the things further away are harder to distinguish. Yeah. They're a little more blurred out.
Wreath at the door, but is
Yep.
there also a...
I think it's garland.
Well, there is garland, but then there's a circular shadow. Like
Yeah, there's a
Yeah,
wreath
that's what throws you off.
facing
Yeah.
front,
Yes.
and then there's a wreath facing the side, which is way too big. That wreath is way too big.
And I'll leave it up to you to how you want to interpret that. If you want to paint it that way, great. If
What
not,
are you
want-
gonna do? Just...
I don't know yet. I did not. I drew in a square right here. So here's my drawing. Masking fluid, and if you look, some of my dots are big, some of my dots are small.
Right.
They're not all the same size.
So you would just do the
Or
brush
do you
and do
put
the
the
tap
road
tap
in?
thing
I
on
did.
it?
You're gonna, because it's 4, and so why did you put the road in like that?
I don't know what you mean.
That much mass.
It's a lot of detail.
Yeah.
I thought we were in the
I think
drawing
you
of the
need the
floor.
It needs a.
You
need
chose
the
to have 2 roofs.
I did.
Like a front roof and a back.
Yes, I did.
Did you consider doing
That's the way I interpreted it when I saw it.
that? Right. And
You did. It didn't cause unresolved conflict.
causes unresolved
I have
conflict.
unresolved conflict.
Again, I'm kind of being faithful
you're being a
to
purist.
the
paintings.
to the painting.
I also feel like the hat on the snowman was too big, but you made it smaller.
He made
Maybe a little. Yeah, I probably made it a little bit smaller. Again, I'm not. This is my interpretation of the painting.
Yeah.
Right,
Yeah,
so-
yeah.
It's not always going to be perfect. I'm not. This again, I'm making a replica of it, but I'm not trying to be just photocopy real.
Right.
Yes.
And did you consider using mask for some of this? But no, you don't
No.
want to.
I don't want
Because
to.
you want that to set back.
And then so what I want to do today is I'm going to start doing this. I'm going to paint the first layer of this painting with you guys.
Alright.
I'm going to show you how I approach this to set up what I would call the underpainting, right? The first layers. Because what I'm doing when I look at this, I'm looking at where are my washes? Where am I? Because your washes have to be done first. You do your washes first, and your detail goes on over the top of that. Like I said, I'm breaking this down into a couple of different washes, and I'm going to let's see. I'm going to put out a couple of colors. All my paint. So I'm going to put out a little neutral tints because I don't have a lot of fresh neutral tints. Endothrone blue.
Oh, I love that color. Me too. Oh, God.
And-
I don't have that color.
And you don't have to have this. If you have
Who are you kidding?
ultramarine
I
blue
have it.
and mix in a little bit of neutral tint or mix in a little bit of Jane's Gray, it will come close to the same thing. And then I'm going to throw in, let's see, I am going to stick with a yellow ochre as my yellow. All right,
What yellow did you say you're using?
yellow ochre.
You said you
Either one would work, but I would. Payne's great. it would be closer. Jane's gray is a little bit more of a black gray or dark gray. A little more of a cool
I
gray.
like that one, I have it.
Jane's gray is a little more of a, Payne's gray is a little more of a blue gray. So those are the, I'm just looking for which
Jane's
brush.
gray.
But so the
Spot.
trees are sort of
Ultramarine
purpley,
blue
so you're
and
gonna add a red,
bird
what
seed
red
in
are
it.
you gonna add?
Okay, there's too many questions.
Sorry,
going.
questions going.
Too many. My brain's locking up. Okay, what was the question?
Those background trees have a red tint, a purpley tint, so you're.
There's a little bit of a purple tint in
So you're
there.
gonna add a little red?
I am, but that's later. Right now I'm
Okay.
concentrating on the sky.
Okay.
And this can be a little bit of a challenge, this sky. So it's gonna be hard to get this in a wash, but I'm going to try to get this in one wash. And I'm going to do it by doing this. So I'm going to do a wash that goes this way, and it's gonna go kind of a bluish purple to a little bit more of a off-white yellow blue, right? And I'm going to use,
You're not including the trees on that, or you just do?
I'm going to paint right through the trees because the trees are darker and they're going to be very irregular shaped. So I'm not worried about that. I'm going to go from about right here over, and then one thing you'll notice, the lightest part of the trees are still darker than my sky. So I'm not gonna hurt anything by painting through my trees, is what I'm saying. So I'm gonna start off. I'm mixing out a little bit of
Except for this one, don't you see this white tree?
yeah. There's a little bit of a white tree there. Yeah. I'm not gonna worry about it.
Okay.
If I have
You
to,
wouldn't like remove it with a paper towel or something like?
I could, but and I might try that, but to be honest, I don't want to spend all my time here masking. And what I might do is just grab some gouache and throw a little bit of white on there at the end. I'm not too worried about it. It's not to me a
Right.
super
Yeah.
Important
It's
element.
not a focal point.
Right. So now I'm looking at this and I'm thinking, okay, I need a little bit of purple. And so I'm gonna introduce some imperial purple. And I don't need a lot because there's not a lot in the sky, but there is some. So, and look how big my puddles are here, guys.
Massive and dark.
Let's see if I can back that up there. You can see my.
I have it.
All right.
Okay.
So pretty good sized puddles. Look, my purple on this side, my blue on this side, and then I'm gonna introduce the yellow. So the problem with this is I don't want to have it turn green on me. So we'll see how that plays out. All right. So we're gonna start up here. And we're gonna go in, and everybody's already freaked out. Look how much of a bead I already have working. I'm just looking through here.
And that's just the blue right now?
Oh, he's got some purple.
This is
He's got some
purple in
Oh,
there.
the purple, the imperial.
There's some purple in there. Now I'm
Now
gonna
he's
do
pulling in blue.
a little more blue. And I might have to go back over this again and make this a little more purple because it's going to be a challenge to keep that purple in there. So I'm just recharging a little bit more purple into my sky. Probably more than I need. Now I'm going to, and now you can start seeing my smaller snowflakes.
I can't see them from here, but maybe if. Oh yeah, there I do. I can see it now. He's one of them.
Okay. And notice I don't have to be in a huge hurry here because as long as I've got that bead going, I don't have to worry about going too fast.
And you're not worrying about any sharp line on the left side of the paper.
No, because I'm butting up against I am doing some negative painting. I'm going around my home, my house.
Okay, so yeah, so you're okay.
So I am being somewhat careful here
With a giant brush.
with the giant brush.
That's a nice point on the brush.
Not much of a point on this brush.
Not much.
No, this is more of a mop. It doesn't have a big point. All right. So now I'm getting into the area of my painting that is going to be a little bit more yellow. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch over to orange. And this.
So what orange?
This is a new gamboge. And I'm only looking for a little help with the transition here, right? Because I don't want to go straight to yellow.
Right.
Oh, okay.
I know.
So I got too much of a line working.
Yeah.
So I'm going to come back up here. And I'm going to go at the top again. Work my way back down.
More purple.
And I'm going to get rid of this line.
Oh, wow. Okay. Wow.
Are you talking about the artist?
Yeah.
The artist show? Well, yeah.
What color are you using?
And that's
So-
new gamboge?
This is new gamboge, yeah.
But he's got.
But he's
blue
got
going.
this
with
purple,
the blue.
because I was gonna say it looks brown, or it looks almost.
A little bit more brown in there. It's turning brown because of what I've mixed in.
Purple,
Right.
yeah.
Now I'm doing a little bit more of the yellow.
Right.
Okay.
A new gamboge.
Yellow ochre.
Yellow.
Yellow.
A little too dark. I'm going back in with a little bit more water.
This would be crazy.
Would you ever do a really light layer of yellow first, let it fully dry, and come back later and do the blue purple on top of it?
I will
leaving
probably
some
go
of the
over this.
yellow?
I will probably go over this again with a little more blue, but you always run the risk of turning it green, and you have to be careful with that. All right, so I've got a pretty good wash, pretty good gradation, but I'm going to go over it one more time, and I'm going to go back. I'm going to rinse out my brush. I'm going to try and get a little bit more purple and start up here and go more purple.
And you can do this because it's still fundamentally
wet.
very wet.
It's very wet.
Okay.
And I'm going to let that go through, then I'll probably add a little more blue in here.
Can you really see the snow?
But even though you're doing it with really loose paint, it's
Too
not
much.
blossoming because there was still enough of a bead.
Yeah.
It's not.
Yeah.
I'm talking about that. It's not, okay? Is it over there?
There we go.
It's on that side.
It's going to come out pretty dark, darker than I want.
Oh, now I see all the loose snow.
Mm-hmm.
was that you just went over with? What color did you just put over that?
A little blue.
Little blue?
I put a little bit of blue in there. So now I'm going to come in here and add a little more water up here and wash some of this out of the sky.
I feel like we're into advanced level.
Oh.
That's not what mine's gonna look like. You're taking a few
I would have hit the
Oh.
sink over there before this.
So I'm picking up some of the water bead,
Okay.
and all I'm doing is washing some of the color out of the sky. That's all I'm doing.
Well, you look like you're adding color to the sky.
Not intentionally. It's mostly water that I'm putting down right
Oh,
now.
okay.
Okay, we're gonna let that dry.
Okay, now one question. Why did we leave, what's that?
Nothing.
Oh, I thought
Not
it was
worried
just-
about it.
Okay, I was like, what
Not worried about
are we saving there? What are we?
Nothing.
Okay,
I really don't want, the only place I'm okay with hard edges is kind of around the house. But everywhere else, I'm not real worried about it because it's gonna be dark trees back there. And you're not gonna be able to see most of it anyway. I'm not unhappy with this. I think overall, and I can keep turning it. Now the problem here is I've got a three-way wash working. I've got a wash going this way, a wash going this way, and a wash going down. So there are some, but the good news is after I put in my trees in the background, this will all make sense. It will actually work.
Yeah.
yeah, I can see it.
I like
Totally, I
yeah,
can see
yeah,
it.
yeah,
Yeah, I can
yeah,
see it.
yeah. Because you.
When you were
that
doing it, I
last
was scared to
step
death.
where
I
you
was like,
added
ah.
Because before it was a
And
little
when he
too.
was doing it, yeah, I was like, ooh, she's very dark.
Right, me too, but he added the water at the end that took it all away. I know, without making it blossom.
Yeah, I'm scared.
It's not going to blossom as long as the wash you're working with is wet. This is why you want the bead. This is why you want, and so like as long as this wash is wet, I can go back in and add more pigment right now.
I just
I
went
could-
in and did a whole nother dark on my sky, as long as you wet it.
Yep. But now, after this dries, I got to be real careful. I can paint over the top of it, but if I re-wet the sky, it will reactivate. I don't want that. That's when I'm going to come up with blooms and all kinds of other crap that I don't want.
So you're saying after you finish this, you can't do wet on wet?
I can't do wet on wet in the sky.
Because like those fuzzy little trees to the right of the house.
Over here?
Yeah. To me, they look like they were wet and wet. And so are you saying we're not gonna be able to do that?
I will show you how to do that.
Okay.
Because yeah, you can, if you, basically we're going to have these are soft edges.
Soft.
They're almost lost, but really they're soft edges, right? So I'll show you how to do this. This is a really pretty thing too because it's a purple over a yellow, and it kind of. Now I don't have a ton of yellow in the sky. I could go back in
You wouldn't do it
and
now.
introduce. Yeah, I
while
could
it's
go back
still
in.
Yeah,
wet.
while it's
Sure.
wet, now's the
While
time to do
while
it.
it's.
Now would probably be the time to do it.
Right.
So I'm going to add a little bit
Then he
more.
won't be able to teach us.
I'm going to add a little bit more yellow.
From dry.
I probably shouldn't because, to be honest, I've got a pretty good mix as it stands. I'm gonna leave it alone. I don't want to go.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I don't want to.
I want to
to.
learn how to do it
Yeah.
from dry.
Yeah.
No, I think he was gonna add more.
I could add another yellow wash over the top of this, which I might do after it all dries. All right. So I would not do another wash or anything to this. I'm just picking up the edges so that I don't have any super hard edges later that I have to contend with. I don't want to deal with really hard edges. Better not to. I'm going to pick up a little bit in here because I have, and you see how the trees in the background are almost happening
Right on.
just with my,
Naturally, yeah.
just with me picking up and lifting.
Wow.
I may not have to do much more than that.
Wow.
What?
Yeah, but he's making it streets.
Yeah, sopping wet, and he kept adding on top of where.
Really, all I'm doing here is removing some pigment, some yellows, and so that when I go back in with my blues, the purples, they really stand out. I don't want to turn it brown later. So I'm just kind of lifting some of this yellow out of there.
First of all, I can keep
This is gonna work.
keep the bead, and it's not sopping wet, so that's still my struggle.
Right, because then I can't come back in.
And that'll work too. This actually goes all the way up here. I like that. Almost does the work for me.
Painting with our paper towel.
I do it all the time. Yeah.
I don't know why.
Most expensive brush right there.
But not the fir tree on the far left, you're not gonna do with the paper towel, like that.
I could. Actually, that would probably be, now would be the time to do it.
Sorry.
Let's see. It's gonna be kind of hard to come up with the same exact pattern.
Yeah, it's not gonna be.
But let's see if I can get in there and lift some of this out. Maybe. Yeah, it's gonna be hard.
That's working, that's working.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, let's see.
It's, I could probably sell it if I put some darks in underneath.
Yeah.
Too close to it.
Okay, we're good.
Okay.
All right. So the next thing I'm gonna do, I'm gonna let this dry. I'm going to do my light to dark down here. And this is a little more mottled, so I'm going to use a little bit smaller brush. But the colors are very similar. They're not all that different. So I'm going to start off with a little bit of a blue
But that's our
wash.
light range, right?
Excuse me? Yeah, this is the light part of it. So I'm going to start off with a little bit of my blue in here.
The pads of arches we buy.
And
Block is glued. So which blue is this?
this is,
That indent?
yeah, indithrone. But I'm actually going in and adding some ultramarine right here because the indithrone is a little gray. And this needs to be a little blue in here.
Because he was using a block.
Because it's snow?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's in the shadow and
In
it's
the
a
shadow
snow.
of the snow.
And it's a cool shadow.
Okay.
So
Okay.
here's where I'm basically going through and adding. Now, I'm picking up that edge and watch. I got just plain water and I'm making it a soft edge. Right? So I created a little bit of a wash there. I've got a little bit of a wash over here on the other side that I need to put in. A little bit of a wash back here that I need to do. I can come underneath here. And now I'm going to come down and I'm going to start adding some yellow.
That doesn't qualify as a yellow right now. Oh, there it does.
Yeah, here it comes.
This is almost all yellow.
Yeah.
This is just yellow. And it's too yellow. So I'm going to pick some of it up. And I'm going to come on over here. Keep coming. I got a little bit of a line here from a drip earlier. That's all right. I'm not going to stress about it. I'm going to add this. Now the problem with watercolor is at this stage, I call this the ugly teenagers.
Yes, yes.
And it's, a lot of people will think, oh, this is going bad. And they'll stop and they'll give up right here.
That's great.
And I think you're giving, you gotta have faith in the process. You gotta have faith and let it go. Oh, I didn't really want.
So I like to take pictures at the different stages of my painting, and then I show them to the students, and they gasp when they see the first one, and then they see the finished one.
Mm-hmm.
And that's, I think that's,
You're right. You're right.
Yep.
If y'all, yeah, if I were to show you, and I do the same thing. Like I have
Yeah.
a lot of pictures of
the
paintings
beginnings,
at
yeah.
the beginnings, and they don't look good.
No.
They look. If you looked at it, you would think, oh, this is
Yep.
going bad.
Usually that's when I walk away and then I come back to it.
Sometimes you have
But
to.
taking a picture of it works for me though too,
So all I'm doing here, if y'all notice, is I'm doing my transition washes.
Yeah.
And that's what I want you to recognize is so much of what you're going to be painting is really nothing more than a transitional wash.
But you're doing negative painting, you're leaving stuff, you're painting
He's kind of
around
lifting it
things.
out too.
Yeah, I am painting around certain things. I'm painting around the brick right now, but really, I'm going to go over the brick anyway. I'm not too worried about that at the moment. Although I'm going to lift some because there are highlights on the brick that I want to retain. But there's also a lot of blue in the brick from reflections and whatnot. So I'm trying to kind of mix them together a bit.
He lifted with paper towel.
A little more warm and yellow than what's in the painting or what's in the
Is
original.
that the new gamboge?
Nope, this is all
Still
just
yellow
yellow
ochre.
ochre. The only place I put yellow new gamboge was up here to help me make that transition. That's the only place I used it. Alright. And I could paint through this, that's fine, doesn't matter. I'll probably go in and lift some of it out with my, and alright. Not bad. Pretty much accomplished what I need to accomplish. And I don't want this line. I don't like lines because they're hard to fix later.
Are you good to go?
So now I'm going to do the roof if I'm dry enough. I'm pretty dry. All right. So now we're going to come in. We're going to do this roof. This roof is kind of the darkest shadow.
And your sky's not completely dry, so you're not.
It's pretty
worried-
dry.
Oh, it is pretty dry.
It's pretty dry. And there's a little tiny bit of dampness in there, but it's pretty dry around here.
Right, that means
Dry
you'll
enough
be
to where I can
afraid.
And he's got masking right at the top of the roof.
Yeah, and I do have
Oh, he
masking.
has masking on the top of the roof.
So I'm going to come in here. That's a little purple. What did I
With
do?
the same color blue.
Mhm. I don't want too much purple. Just one. I need to put some more undertone out. Where did my undertone go? There it is. Okay. Wow.
This is pretty much pure blue, no purple, just or gray, neutral tint, just the in
In
that
the throne.
or whatever blue.
This is, I'm mixing some purple into it.
Oh, you are. So
Yeah.
blue.
A little bit of blue, a little bit of purple, but not a ton. But I want this to come out kind of dark.
It's the darkest thing so far, right?
I wanna hit, yeah, I'm kinda hitting that value right off the bat.
If you squint, you can see it.
Yeah, no, it looks to be the darkest of the so far.
And I'm trying to get enough liquid on there to where I have some, a bead. Get enough water going.
I'll have to learn to do that stinking bead.
It's just warm water.
Now, I'm going to pull it down. Now, I've got, this roof breaks. It breaks this way.
That's what you Russian, that's still, that's the solution.
It looks crooked to me.
And
How
it breaks this way. So,
This is why I like landscapes.
now there's some yellow up here. That's a little bit of a reflection
From the window,
Yeah.
yeah.
that I'm adding. Now, I'm going to add a little bit more. Make it a little bit more. And because this light from this window is kind of creating
Yeah.
a warm glow right here, and so I want the
Area surrounding it
yeah,
darker.
yep. So this should be my darkest. So now I'm going to come back here and go on this side, and it needs to be a little. Now remember, I'm going to put in some darker trees, so this will help set this off. But this is actually pretty.
So that's lighter than the other.
Yeah.
Okay. If I can make my way around that crap chimney that I can hardly look at.
Right.
You guys get really hung up on things. You know, I think one of the reasons why I can do it without being too disturbed by it
Yes, why?
is because I think of everything as a shape.
Oh.
I think of it as a shape. I don't think of it as, now, in the back of my mind, I know it's a roof, you know, but I'm not thinking in terms of, I'm thinking about this shape. I'm thinking about this shape. I'm thinking about this shape, and as I'm painting them. And I'm looking at its value next to the thing next to it. So there are two things. One is hitting the right value, but two is hitting the right value in relation to the things around it. So that's actually not the easiest thing to do. But what you can tell is the thing next to it lighter or darker? Lighter, and I'm always doing that. Is it darker or lighter? Darker, lighter, darker, lighter. As I'm painting this. So now I'm going to come in here. This area here is a little bit lighter. And so we're going to have that come down like that. And I'm going to introduce more yellow right there. A little bit more yellow. Right in there. This yellow that's right here.
It's happy little home.
It has a happy home. It has a happy. Isn't that nice? Don't you feel?
I'm sorry, I'm working on my shapes right now. I can hardly.
Now I'm coming in here and
I can't figure
I'm going to
out.
go ahead and put in this yellow in these windows now. And it's not going to look right until after I get the darks in. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then it will pop.
Well, let's hope. We definitely want some popping.
And you're still using the yellow ochre?
I just pulled in some lemon yellow right there, and made it just a little bit more,
Just to give it a little bit more punch with the
a little
glow.
more ooze it. I oozed it a bit.
You pushed it.
I pushed it. I'm gonna pull it now. I thought it was kind of interesting because she just showed up. That was weird.
Yeah. She was,
What color
Visiting
gray?
someone for lunch.
Excuse me, what
Oh.
color yellow were you using?
I used a yellow ochre to begin with, and I've also pulled in a little bit of, this is actually my fault, this is not lemon yellow, this is,
But it's a-
cad yellow, it's cad yellow deep, cad yellow deep.
Yellow deep.
which is kind of cat, but you don't need to.
No, not lemon.
Have to worry. Okay.
I am putting a little bit of, lemon would be cool, and I don't want lemon, I want more. I'm putting in a little bit of the new gamboge up here too,
Okay.
to help with the red, give it a little more warm glow.
Two yellows.
The only thing to do is glow.
I think you could use that too.
And I normally, to be honest, guys, I normally would save this till the end. I'm just doing it because
It's there.
it's the coolest part of the painting, right? All right. So now I'm going to go in and I'm going to do a wash over the house. I might wait a little while because it looks like I'm going to have to come back and do a little bit more on the roof because it's going to dry lighter than I need it. Especially, it'll dry too light right here, too light in a couple of areas. So I will have to come back and darken that up a bit.
Yeah.
I'm going to come in here and do. So this edge of the roof over here it's a little blue, but if you'll notice, it's got a lot of warm reflection of
Yeah.
yellow in it.
Yeah.
So I'm going to do it almost.
It's got some pink in it too.
Yeah. So all I did was put a little bit of a line of ultramarine blue at the top and then mixed in some really washed out yellow.
Switch it from it to
And,
It didn't turn green because
I wish I could tell you why it doesn't turn green. I don't completely understand that myself, but I have had a lot of luck doing this, and I'm not going to argue. I think it has to do with the blue pigment and the way they settle. And so, interestingly enough, I can mix them without turning it green, but you have to be careful.
But that's with the yellow ochre though.
Yes.
Yeah, and I think it's because it's the ochre and the underlying color on it is not necessarily a yellow. It's kind of got a brownish shade to it
There's
too.
a brownish,
And
yeah.
that's probably why it works.
Now y'all can see I'm going back in and actually I'm doing a second wash
How you can tell.
over the top of this.
Of mostly blue.
It's mostly blue, but at this point I am picking up, because look at my palette. It's not clean.
No.
I am mixing, so one thing about, and look how much water I have in here. Look how much of a pool I'm working with here. It's not small. All of you, I guarantee when you do this, it's like you're afraid, like water's gonna run out tomorrow, and you're just not gonna have enough.
Well, we can't argue. I don't know why that is, but
Mix more than you think you're gonna need. I would rather have more than I need than not enough while I'm painting.
oh, duh.
Well, I've watched a lot of you do it over and over again.
yes, we do. I do.
Okay.
I just remarked, that's my.
All right. So I got this up here too that I need to get. It's a very interesting roll. This is darker on this side.
Are you doing the chimney or are you still doing the roof?
I'm still just doing the roof, trying to get the roof. I went in and darkened it up a bit more.
There's a V on it.
There's a what? A V? Yeah, a little bit. But I didn't do the V. I just did this lean over. So if you look at mine, see how I did it? I wish I could make that bigger, but I can't. So
Yeah, okay.
It
I
makes
see.
the shape.
Yeah, I see what you're doing. Okay.
adding a little more blue up here at the top.
like a turret, but it's
And I'm
a
gonna
square turret.
pick that up a little bit.
Not rounded.
That's why it's, because it's 90-degree angles.
Yes.
Okay, and there's no thing on it.
All right, so now,
It's a
sorry.
logical thing for me.
Now,
I don't know how that works.
we're gonna do the building, and I'm gonna do this with a little bit of,
Wait, we're doing the mystery building?
Background building?
We're doing the
No.
mystery building?
no, we're doing the house.
Oh, we're doing the house, okay.
We're doing the house. And the house is almost gray. It's got a little bit of beige, yellow. So I'm gonna do a little bit of Payne's gray and mix in some burnt sienna over the top of my already mixed together pool of blue.
Purple, blue.
Now up here, the chimney's a little more red, so I can go a little bit more.
Like brick goes into stone.
Yeah, I can do a little bit more burnt sienna with that. I might even touch a little bit of red into it. And I'm just going with my light red from Holbein. And so we'll start off up here and do a little bit of the roof. I'm sorry, a little bit of the chimney. And I'm gonna have to find a stopping point here pretty quick because it's already
Yeah, 410.
4:10. Today went by really fast.
Did you do all the windows that have the same yellow colors that you're?
He hasn't done the
mixing?
upstairs yet.
I haven't done this side, I've done this side, but I'm gonna save those till next week because obviously we're gonna run out of time. And we'll pick up where we left off.
So the goal is for this week, we'll get about as far as you are.
Yeah, get about as far as I am, get to here, and then
I'm gonna try to do 2 or 3.
we'll paint the next section. You can see how we go. But don't get too far ahead, right? I really want you,
Don't worry.
I'll wait.
I know many of you are gonna wanna paint ahead, but try to resist the urge. So if you mix burnt sienna and ultramarine, you get a nice dark color.
Is that James Gray?
No. This is, Jane's Gray is more of a, Jane's Gray is more of a cool gray, cool dark gray. This,
I thought I remembered her saying that's what it is.
who?
Jane,
What are you talking about?
the woman that made Jane's Gray.
Oh, I don't
It's
know.
complicated.
I didn't know there was a woman that made Jane's Gray.
Yeah,
This is very complicated.
This is new to me.
she's the big color guru.
Oh.
Jane Blundell or whatever her name is.
Yeah.
Yes, she's great.
Yeah, that's her gray. And I thought it was because she was tired of mixing those two colors.
Oh, so you're just bringing that whole thing down?
I'm doing a wash.
We're not, okay, because I'm like, my God, are we gonna be painting every little,
Brick?
brick?
No.
But no.
No.
So is the
that-
drawing serving as the brick then, really?
It could, but no, I'll go back over the top of it and put in some suggestions of brick. I'm not gonna paint every brick.
Okay. Yeah.
And if you'll, so this is just me mixing some ultramarine blue and some burnt sienna together.
Yeah.
And it's giving me kind of this kind of darker. And this won't, like, I will have to come back in and darken it up again, but
Here, I should maybe do it here, we're gonna do Prussian. But maybe I need to do the advanced brown blue. Yeah, because I threw it in up in there. I like that fix that, I like that.
It took me 3 days to
This
get the
one
drawing
is
done.
fine now.
You're gonna send us a better
I'm gonna try and find a better reference.
Well, I was gonna say, I need the reference will matter, because
the name of this
Yeah.
painting?
that's a better picture
No.
than when I looked
I
at,
honestly
because I
don't.
got lost
put
in
it
the
in-
picture.
Yeah. I couldn't even see.
I know.
House, Santa
I'm with you,
Claus,
Dave.
snow,
And I think
like
that's part of the
his,
reason
the
why I
Santa
was
Claus and
struggling with
every,
the chimney,
you know,
because
snowman and
I have
every
to
one of them.
logically know how that building is facing. And I
All right, guys, we're gonna leave it. We're gonna leave it right here, and we'll pick up where we left off next week.
But I'll leave this pretty much as it is, just to kind of orient us.
Okay, here's my plan. Don't screw up in front of the class.
No. Do screw up, it'll teach us.
Y'all have seen me screw up. I mean, I've had, and that's one thing. That's one reason why I called it navigating the challenges of watercolor, because it's not how to paint a successful painting. It's about trying to paint a successful painting. Because there's always something.
That makes me feel.
You're not. I have, even today, I have a stack of paintings that did not come out, and I still have paintings that don't come out. I probably have 4 paintings in the last month that I've done that I'm not going to show you because they didn't come out. I should bring them. I'll bring them in, and I'll show you.
Yes, and then you'll tell us why you don't like them or what.
Yeah. I think the important skill to learn is to be objective about your painting, right? And that's hard because if we get criticism, I know. I mean, I can myself. It's hard. I like criticism as long as it's constructive and I'm getting something out of it. If a lot of times though, if I've got somebody criticizing me, they're not really giving me anything I can work with. They're just telling me reasons they don't like it. And sometimes that's helpful. If my wife does it, if I know she doesn't like it, I know she's not going to be able to tell me she doesn't like it because the values are off. Or she's not going to be able to tell me she doesn't like it because my composition is crap or something along those lines. But she'll tell me she doesn't like it. And she'll give me an explanation, but it won't be in terms of art language that is... So then I have to kind of interpret that and go, you know what, she's right. It's a separate opinion. Sometimes you can figure it out by looking at it in a mirror. That a lot of times will help you, because if you're looking at it straight on or not in a mirror or something like that, then it can throw you off quite a bit.
On the other hand, doesn't it help to be like invested? Because when we have class assignments in the past that I've liked, I do such a better job than ones where I know I don't like it going in. Like, if I'm not emotionally attached to the topic, like, it's very hard for me to do a picture.
There are a lot of artists. So this is a very broad topic. I got broke of that when I was an illustrator.
Oh, you had to do it with work.
Yeah. So like some things, I've got to be able to paint this regardless of whether I like it or not.
Yeah.
I've got to paint it. So that helped break me of that.
Yeah.
I will say there are times when I'm really into painting something that I like a lot, and I will absolutely paint it better just because I like it more and I'm really into it. There are times when I'm going to paint something that I'm either doing as commission. Commissions, if you haven't done commissions can be one of the hardest things to do because it's not your vision, it's somebody else's. And unless they're just commissioning you to reproduce one of your paintings or they're giving you carte blanche to paint something, most people who commission, they want you to do something really specific. And they want it to come out a certain way, they want it to be a certain thing, and that can be difficult for a lot of artists. It can be a real challenge. All right. I'm gonna add a little more Jane's Gray to my palette. But going back to, I do believe you will be better served if you can put a degree of separation between you and your paint. I'm putting down some Joseph Sabuchik Cool Gray, which is a really...
That's a brand that you buy?
Yes.
It has violet 19 and black sticks.
Yeah.
This is cool gray.
Wow, that's cool gray.
That's like black.
It's so dark.
Well,
when I was playing with the monitor, I turned the brightness down a little bit. So
I'm just
that
going over your
it
shoulder.
wasn't
Oh, it's like a
dark.
blue-gray.
And I
though.
think I got it too dark,
Wow.
and I'm afraid to touch it again.
Oh,
There
it's
you go.
really nice.
Pass it
I
around.
like it.
And watch it when it dries. It'll color shift a little bit.
Oh,
And
yeah.
it is a gorgeous gray. We'll go all the way down to here. Look at that, I've already got a bead.
And we're doing this because you're darkening that area?
Yeah. And I want to bring it all the way down here.
And it's not gonna go lower than that because you don't have water anywhere.
No.
Yeah, that's cool, right?
So I don't have the confidence to do that.
Here's his too.
Okay, I'll give it back.
What you tried though, is, I mean,
It does, yeah.
This is why I
it's
want you
nothing
guys.
special for Terry. I
No.
hate to say that.
No, you're right. You're absolutely right.
Anybody can do that.
Yeah. Oh, I
I
see.
changed the color in the middle of it.
We're gonna do that.
It
We're
looks
gonna do that here in
dark,
just a
but-
second.
So what are you putting in now, blue?
No, water.
It's just water.
Did you use any type of frisking or anything to keep white areas, or did you just? Okay.
There is a little bit of masking material
Yes.
on the roof right here.
Oh, okay.
And I've got a little bit in a couple other locations, but not a lot.
Okay.
You got snowflakes all over the place, right?
Yeah.
Is that frisking or just avoiding?
Hmm?
Is that frisking or avoiding or
Uh,
masking? Sorry, I'm using the wrong word.
Frisky.
yeah, I don't know what you mean by frisking.
I don't even know.
I
what
haven't
God
frisked
that
anybody in
was.
a while.
But I think sometimes it's hot.
Diamonito, maybe.
And what did you go into? Yellow ochre?
This is yellow ochre.
Okay.
So I decided I wanted this, and I'm gonna do a little bit of
And you
going
did
around
the,
these trees a
the
little bit.
warm gray over the blue purple, right? I mean, the
Yeah.
cool gray over the warm purple.
You didn't clean your brush because you already were using water a lot.
You're
right?
correct.
Okay.
And I basically will only clean my brush by adding more water. I'm not a clean freak. Like
That's interesting.
I want
Yeah.
there to be some,
Wow.
but I wanted more of a yellow in this sky to give some more warmth in the background because it's important.
Yeah.
And yeah, let me do that.
Get there.
Here you are.
Pieces in there for the snow.
So not bad.
That's still damp, right?
Yeah. So the where I'm putting this is not damp in the middle. I'm going for the edges, right? So I'm doing this because I want these edges to bleed together a little bit. And
Wow. So you just used water to move it into the color you want. You don't play the blending game
nope.
or the cleaning your brush
Mm-mm.
or using a brush that has water on it to mix it. And if it's a dark area, you just go ahead and paint over,
Yep.
and then you know you're gonna go darker.
I'm gonna go darker on it later.
Yeah.
Okay, you said you were doing something for those trees up in. Okay.
If we don't redo our sky, and we just wanna add the background trees.
Mhm.
Thoughts on that? Just put it in very lightly.
Say that again?
So right now, aren't you putting in a little bit of those background trees?
Yep, a little
So
bit.
if I don't want to redo my sky,
Mhm.
and I just can go straight to the trees, right? I mean, there's no.
Sure. Yeah. The one good thing about doing what I just did is it gives me a little bit of blending between
Right.
the trees and the sky. But I'm gonna let this dry, and then I'll do a little bit more work on the trees. But as you can see, it's giving me a nice effect. I don't want to put too much detail in there right now. That works. All right. So now I'm going to come over on this side, and I mean I could do this in a lot of ways. The traditional way here would be to start to just do one, like all my midtones, then all my darks, and work my way up. But I'm going to skip around a little bit, and sometimes I'm skipping around just because I'm waiting for one section of the painting to dry to be able to paint in it. So I could come in here and I could lay in some of my darks, and I have to do some negative painting in here.
What color are you doing for those dark trees?
Right now, this is a mix between the blue red and the cool gray.
Okay.
So I'm just coming in and doing some under the tree kind of work and putting in some of the darker colors. And having some of the darks in early will help me judge my values. Because all of this is a balance between, is this dark enough? Is it too dark? Is it light enough? Is it too light? And its relation to the thing next to it. So generally speaking, that is the process I follow to get my values right. Is I'm looking at what is its value in relation to the things around it.
And this is gonna be one of your darkest darks.
It will be. This is, like right now, I will probably end up having to go over this again. This is not going to be the final bit of it.
So Terry, when you're doing that tree, you're leaving the snow on the branches and you're just doing the underside?
Yeah, I'm basically doing this by negative painting. And a lot of times with watercolor, the way you get to, especially in a scene like this, the only way to do it is with negative painting. You could try a lot of different things, but the only way you're going to get here. Now, I could choose to make my bushes, I could go the opposite way, but because it's snow, it doesn't read well if I change it from light to dark. And if y'all notice in a lot of my paintings, I make the choice to change things from a light to a dark.
But in here, you're not doing that.
Not right now. No, I'm trying to get the effect of what you see here in the reference. And, you know, I'm not gonna lie, this isn't easy. It doesn't always turn out perfect, but for a watercolor where I can't go in and paint lights over darks, there's not a lot of options to get this effect. So we talked about using we talked about using, and look how I'm getting this gradation here. So basically, I went dark to light. Did you see that? Now, I want to get this tree, because if you look in here, there's a tree right on the edge of this, and what's there is kind of hard to get to. It's not an easy thing. So what I'm doing is I'm going to put in some darks, and then I'm going to lift them, and I'm going to wait till it gets to a certain point, and then I'll go in and I'll lift it with my
And that's your Windsor blue red?
yeah.
And that's in order to get more of a white snow-covered tree?
Yeah. But again, sometimes I'm suggesting detail, sometimes I'm spelling it out. So I'm gonna let that dry for just a minute, and then I'm gonna lift it, and I'll show you how I'm gonna do it. You can do this with a lot of different things. Some people have sponges and various ways to lift here. I just take a paper towel and I kind of roll it into an odd shape, and then I can come in here and I can blot with it, and it will give me kind of an odd shape.
Okay, your head's getting in the way.
Sorry.
Getting a big head, Terry.
My fault. Now I'm coming in underneath the branch that I lifted and putting the bottom side of the branch in to give it a little shape and shadow. It doesn't look exactly like what's there. Not worried about it.
No, but you get the impression. I think.
Now I'm going to come in, and you can see there's some limbs back here that sell this a little bit. So I'm going to go in and add them now. And look how, when it dried, look how light it got. So where's that cool gray that I gave you as an example? Look how light it got after it dried.
Oh, yeah.
Big color shift.
Huge.
So that's what you did it
Is
with
that
the
why you
cool
use
gray.
it? Because of
Yes.
the color shift?
Well, I don't love the color shift. What I love is the end result. There is some underneath the branch, or underneath these. A little too much green.
Oh, you're drawing the trees in the background.
Mm-hmm.
Are you going by the painting or just going by the feel of the painting?
I'm suggesting.
Okay.
A lot of it is just suggesting.
Yeah.
It's not going to be an exact copy,
Yeah.
but I am trying to get, you know, as pretty close to it as I can.
Yeah. Yeah. I love being given that permission.
It's your
Painting.
It's your painting. It's your, it's your. This is my interpretation of what I'm seeing. So don't ever feel bad about, making it a little different. It doesn't. It's not going to be perfect. It's a study. I'm trying to learn something about the process, something about the composition, something about the, why did he make these choices he made when he did this, and some of it is evident. I like. As you paint stuff like this, you start getting in the head of the person who did it. And in a lot of ways, you'll start learning, hey, this is why he made these choices. Sometimes you won't know. Sometimes it'll be like, well, maybe he had one too many wines while he was painting this, and we don't know why he did that.
You think he tried every color to find the blue the gray that would do what he wanted it to do.
Did he really, or did he just pick blues and go with what?
Well, just
they
the way
gave
that it lightened so much from the way you put it on. You can see really well when you get the dark part and then it dries. That's such a nice. I never know how something's going to dry unless I work with it for a while first. Then I need to write it down. But see, this isn't going to lighten as much as what I'm thinking. He's playing chess.
Well, so if you're not sure how the paint's going to dry, then get a scratch book out or get a scratch piece of paper out and try it before you do it. And then you'll know going in how much color shift you're going to get. You'll know, and I know from experience that this is going to be a significant amount of color shift. But I'm also going in and I'm dropping in darker as it dries, and I'm bumping it up as it goes along.
That's a great idea. I never thought that before I started.
I usually have a scratch piece of paper like that, pretty close by when especially if I'm working with new colors that I'm not super familiar with and I don't know exactly how they're going to behave. Then I will definitely work with some of those scratch pieces of paper to try and figure it out.
My students have to do
Yeah.
color selections on scratch paper.
I understood. You have taken your class course.
That's the best way to do it, because then you'll know if they play together.
Yeah, don't assume anything. You can mess up a painting really quick by, I'll just add this here.
Yeah. Know beforehand. I do need to do a color swatch. I think I want to do the one like you did the last time you did this. Just to go down with the tint. To see how light it goes. Can I ask you why you use Frisk on your roof?
I was trying to preserve some of the whites. I'm gonna probably pick it up here in a few minutes, and then I'll,
Frisk it.
because it will frisk it.
Let's frisk it.
I just
Or
say
masking.
masking material.
Masking.
I do not know where I got that from. Oh,
I used to call it frisk it too, but going in and doing some of the shadows on my snowman.
what are you using? Just
This is just a combination of the same paints I've been using.
okay.
This painting does not have a whole lot of you know, various colors in it.
Yeah. Ouch.
All right. So, a little bit darker in there, a little bit darker right here. Yeah, that roof is a lot darker.
The roof is what?
A lot darker than I gave it initially. So I'm going in to darken it up. You know, color shift, it happens. Sometimes you gotta go back in, add a little bit more. And you know, I drew this out, so I can already see issues with my drawing that are not quite, you know, the same as the painting. That's okay. Doesn't hurt my feelings. Sometimes I'll have a little more pigment on my brush than I think I do. And smart people test it before they go on there. And I'm bad about that, but then I'll get it on there and I'll just add water and move it around.
You paint with a heavy water. I have noticed that. But you you don't really like to put water down before you paint.
I very rarely do that.
Yeah, because I mean, I would have assumed you would do that on this immediately.
I do it on some background stuff, but to be honest, there's not a lot of times when I go wet. You know, I'll put water down first and then paint into it. That's a very rare thing. Not saying it's bad.
No,
Just
it's
saying
just the way
it's-
you do. You
Just more not the way I do it. All right, so you can see how I'm doing the trees. You can see how I'm doing the background. If y'all want to get started on your own, go right ahead. I'm going to start walking around and checking out what you're doing as well.
Okay, so you're putting that faint little tree in dry, Terry?
Sure.
Yeah.
You're just using the same colors with what you've been using.
I mean, I could start mixing it up and adding new colors in, but
No.
I don't think it adds to the painting.
Well, isn't it a color harmony
Yep.
conflict then if you start adding all kinds
Yeah,
of different?
it'll start looking like, what, this doesn't belong here.
Right.
Chris, for the tree on the right with the, leaves hanging in?
Over here?
Yeah.
What about it?
Did you frisk for that one? For
No.
all the white on the leaves?
No. No, and I'm not worried about it. I might go in and do some negative painting there, but what I'm probably gonna do is make this darker. It is darker than the background, so I don't really need to worry about it too much. A lot of times, now, I meant to show you guys this a while back. It was a tool, it's a really simple art tool, but take a piece of paper, cut a square in it, and look, and then hold it over your reference, and look at the thing that you're getting ready to paint. And see look at the value, independent of everything else. And that's why it's helpful to do that. Cut a hole in a piece of paper, about an inch big, you know, just a square, and then put it over the top of your reference and look at it, and then put over the top of your painting and look at it, and see how close you are to the actual value. And chances are good when you're looking at all these different values, especially for newer painters, it is difficult to judge values. That is one of the harder things to do. One of the harder things to learn.
Well, especially because it dries so differently than when you put it on. You put it on and you're like, oh, it looks great, and then it dries and I hate it.
But my point is that a lot of people misinterpret the value of what's there. And a lot of times I'll see people even think it's lighter than the background when it's darker, and vice versa, you know, or other things.
Have you ever used a camera? I just took a picture of this and turned it into
Black
black
and
and white.
Sure. Do that all the time.
Standard.
Terry, when you get to a stopping point, I have a question for you.
All right, I'm gonna finish up these trees real quick and I'll be right over.
Oh, no, I want you to do it on, I want you to show it on your painting,
Oh, I see.
but just, let me get,
See how I'm going in here
Yep.
and I already did the trees. Now I'm going back and I'm adding color, or I'm adding pigment just in certain areas. And look what it does. It flows through the colors that I've already put, or I'm sorry, where the moisture is on the page. It'll flow through it. And it really works well for, you want that watercolor to flow. If your watercolor is not flowing, you're not getting the most out of your watercolor. That makes sense. Just one sec, I gotta paint around this stuff. I don't want.
no, take your time.
Come on, white, Tia. I'm probably gonna use my white wash on this.
No shame in that.
The brand maybe, yeah. I use mostly Windsor.
That's what I'm using.
Everybody has their
It
favorite.
just needs another wash.
I'm just very bad at leaving enough white, and I'm a heavy-handed drawer.
Well, there are ways to correct things. Sometimes we don't love them. Like
How
that.
would you fix being a heavy-handed drawer? You gotta be able to see it really well enough.
Use a lighter pencil lead.
Now, I
You
tried.
needed eraser.
Yeah. Well, if it's too dark, it doesn't erase enough. If you're gonna do a winter scene that's white, it won't erase it enough. If you use like an HB or,
Yeah, I learned that.
yeah.
Do what now?
You can't, like, I'm a little heavy-handed drawing, and even if I use a lighter pencil, I still can't always get my lines out because I draw on my paper. So I end up drawing too dark to fix my drawing.
I just saw a thing, the guy said, use a mechanical pencil
Yeah.
Yeah.
and 2D, so it's, and then put it out about that, the lead about that far. And if you do it too hard, you're gonna break the lid.
Oh, okay.
It's actually that's what I was about to say, is,
Like a regular store-bought mechanical pencil?
Yeah,
or
just a
something
plain
like
old.
yeah, if you
That's
make,
what-
if
that's
you,
good.
and you gotta use,
Great
you
idea.
gotta lose a .05 lead,
Yeah.
Yeah.
because if you go like really thick lead, it won't break. So you need like a .05 lead, and put it out about 1/4 of an inch. And if you go too hard, it will absolutely break that lead, yeah.
Wow, I like that idea. That's a nice training in your hand.
Mhm.
Thank you, Davis. Here.
Good stuff.
Plus he said, don't hold it. Pencil right at the point. Hold it,
Yeah, hold it back.
hold it for eraser.
Well, that will help loosen up your painting, but it could also
Also
help
make it
with
light.
making them lighter.
And use .5, did you say, Terry? Lead, so it
Yeah,
doesn't break
because if you use a really thicker lead, then it won't matter.
Okay.
Don't forget you want to talk about next class.
It will break.
Yeah, thanks for reminding me.
It does slow
Vi-
down.
Vanessa was supposed to be here to help me figure out what the options are. So guys, just so y'all know, next week I cannot be here on Friday. So I have to reschedule, and I'm looking for alternate dates that we can reschedule our class, because I'm going to be in Boston. I'm taking the JFK painting to Boston to present it to Caroline Kennedy. Yeah, it's
Caroline.
pretty cool.
Wonderful.
She's the sponsor of the JFK ship, and
And
so
the 22nd is a big day.
yeah, that's kind of cool that I get to do that.
Yeah, that's right, right?
Oh.
All right, miss, for a minute, walk around, take a look at your work, see how you're coming.
Terry, Mondays are usually. Alright, let me see if I can get rid of that, because I'm.
Nice, you think? I see what I'm up close, I can't. It looks like
And then if I
different.
hate them, they'll bring their own pattern. Definitely.
So why do we think the top of the fireplace is red, but the bottom part is gray?
Part of it's brick and part of it is not.
Well,
So
it's
stone,
all,
stone.
it's all brick, but one side has a shadow.
So that's it. So the whole
That
thing would
side.
have been red, but
Yeah.
it's just gray because it's a shadow.
Yeah, the top.
I'm leaning more towards part of it is stone and part of it is brick.
Okay, see,
That's what I think.
Oh, so the
That-
bottom
that would make
part
any
could be like a
sense.
slate
Why
stone
not?
and the
No,
top
but-
could be
I
a...
think it's got a snow dusting on
Look
it.
at the-
I think it's all brick.
But what about the
shapes
top?
of the
It's red.
It doesn't look like
That's not
brick.
brick.
Yeah, but the shapes of the stones, it does look like stone.
Yeah, true. No, it does. I
No.
agree.
Either that or there looks like a cap to it. There looks like there's a
Well, it does
line
look
around,
like a cap to
and
it.
the lower part is stone and the upper part is brick.
Oh, yeah, I agree with that. I was thinking,
Yeah.
I thought you all were talking about just the top chimney thing. No, I agree with that.
But I put the red in it. The little smack of red is interesting, I think.
Oh, you have to make it over the whole, all over the world.
I have been around the world like 7 times.
Wow.
I have been to 82 countries.
Wow.
I've been to a lot of places I never want to go back to.
Any favorites that you would want to go back?
Yeah, absolutely. I got a lot of favorites. but it's shifting all the time. So some of my favorites are, I love Italy, I love Israel, I like Spain, I like, those are some of my favorites.
Portugal.
Portugal's really nice. I've been to Portugal a couple of times. I really like Portugal a lot.
About.
No art questions in our class, no.
Well, it's probably going to be a basic question. That's why I'm. Should I continue to do my sky, or go to my roof? Because I feel like I can't go to my roof till I get the sky the value I want.
What you don't want to do is paint things that touch each other while they're wet.
Yes, I have to.
So paint something else. Come down here, do bushes, do grass, do
Okay.
something other than that while it's wet, and then come back to the roof or the sky or whatever.
Okay. Do I need to darken this? Not yet. Not till I get. my
That's your
shades
call.
in.
I like it. I mean, you might want to go a little darker, but maybe add a little more blue. But yeah, no, I think it's pretty good. Don't have to go crazy on it. Yeah, there's a lot of garland.
There is a lot of garlic.
Just smush it in, Terry. Just smush it in. You don't have to worry about.
I'm not. This is me doing garland right here.
Oh.
I'm not worried about it. He put a lot of garland on this place.
So you don't want your green to be green. You really want it to be slightly green, but a cool green, right?
Yeah, and mine's like you could see. I'm going pretty dark with it.
Yeah. So you would use like an ultramarine with your green, or a dark blue, or an antharc blue. I'm just talking out loud.
I know.
Am I annoying you?
No comment.
I'll have to
Clean
try
my
harder.
brush, which is something he doesn't do.
I clean my brush. I just don't do
I'm
it.
kidding.
I don't do it as often as a lot of people.
There you are, at least you're talking like one.
Well, I'm pretty good at picking up stuff and using words. It's the technique that will, I don't know what I have all over.
You can talk the talk and
Yeah.
walk the walk.
No, I can't walk the walk. But I'm not gonna give up. I have a
You
new
keep
desk.
going.
I have a new desk at home. It hasn't been put together yet.
Keep going, you'll get there.
I'm gonna be able to do this to paint.
This is white around here and there, a little bit over here and then there. But
Gray.
most of it's bluish gray.
Alrighty.
What colors are you using to get your darkest dark in the green?
Apparently. But I'm sticking Payne's green, indigo, and
I'm not getting there with blue.
I think the contrast is good, I think. You know, it's a little bit more.
See, I'm a fast learner.
It's interesting how we get different music every time we're here.
Depends on who's here to paint that day,
Right.
you know. Patty, this pencil brush. Yeah, but I think you have the regular one. I'll show you. They're not marked differently. This is the one I think This is fun, this is the fun.
This is the bigger one.
This is the, you have the right one. This is the right one. That's fine. Do you see that tip?
All right, we're making our way back here towards the house back here.
Yeah.
The back house?
Yeah. Now we're painting in, and I'm just not gonna do a lot of detail.
I'm gonna try, sir. I'm gonna try to like it.
Okay. I think you're gonna.
The next time you buy our brushes, can you buy me a fine? And
Yeah.
then I'll pay for it, but I just wanna see what the difference
I
is.
just put an order in, but
Okay.
I'll do another one.
Yeah, whenever you, I like to buy one.
Okay.
What are you buying?
Go ahead, tell him what you're buying. He's gonna love this.
There's a company, Syntec, where they make Kolinsky staple brushes that are extremely pointy to paint false teeth.
Oh, wow.
But Margie, the
False
lady
teeth.
who runs the company,
Swear to God.
she didn't realize that there was really a use outside of painting
False
false teeth. So the brushes are only $25 and they're about an 8 in a Kolinsky.
Wow.
So usually you pay about between $50 and $80 for them.
Mhm.
She sells them for $25. And if I put in a fairly large order, she gives them to me for $20.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That sounds like a great deal.
Oh, and I just love them. I usually buy at least one of the fine ones every year because the tip is so pointy that, I use it so much that I feel like I wear it down.
Mm-hmm.
But they're really, they're lovely brushes.
Let us know when you do your next one.
Sometimes when people walk up behind me, I feel intimidated.
No way.
See, that works so well to change the color, just a hue a little bit. Your tree's got a little green there.
Yep.
That works so nice to do that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's subtle shifts. I mean,
Yes, very subtle.
So one thing I did notice, they splay little but it's still for larger.
I was gonna say, you can use that.
too dark. Too much blue.
So
That blue red, boy, it goes blue real quick.
Now this yield, that doesn't bother you?
That, you mean that little spot right there?
Yeah.
That's masking material, and it'll come
Oh,
up.
it is.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That will
Okay,
turn into
gotcha.
a
I thought it
snowflake.
was
No.
a wet thing sitting there. I'm like,
No,
that's
it'll
not-
turn into a snowflake.
Yeah, yeah. This picture is much more accurate, yes. That's beautiful.
Mhm.
I like these.
You're good at doing negative things.
I'm probably still acting.
So, how many of you, before you started painting this, liked Thomas Kinkade paintings?
I used to.
Yeah,
Yeah, I used to like the light,
How
but then
many
they
what?
got a
How many of
little
you
too pitchy for me.
like
I love
Thomas
Thomas
Kinkade
Kinkade's
paintings?
paintings.
I never liked it.
Love them, always have loved them.
So now, curious, after you painted it, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, then I like it better.
Really?
Yes.
It happens to me every time.
I've always loved Thomas Kinkade.
I will say that it's a really interesting thing that happens to me is if I paint one of their paintings, I will appreciate it a lot more.
Oh, yeah, yeah, I can see that.
I gotta buy more Joseph's a bunch of cool gray.
You did get yours back, right?
Pretty sure I did.
Yes,
I'm looking.
I handed it to
Better
you.
make
Here it is.
sure.
Found it.
Okay.
Yeah, it's one of my go-to grays for sure because it's just so. I just love the way it dries and it comes out looking really fine.
So, all the snow coming down, did you frisk it? Am I using the right word?
You should mask. I should say mask.
Mask it? Did you
Yeah.
mask it?
I told it to pull over and it didn't even slow down. Yes, I did. I did mask it off, and so there's a lot of. In fact, just a second ago, who was it that walked up here? It said, yeah, it said, "What's that dot? Doesn't that bother you?" And I'm like, "That's frisket," or it's not. Now I'm saying frisket. It's masking material.
Once it hits your brain, it does not want to come out.
Just a piece of
Plexiglass.
Plexiglass, which is a capital P because it is an actual product that's registered because I just did the prospectus in plexiglass. I had to look it up because how to spell it, and it is not a little p, it is a capital P.
It is capital.
Yeah,
Yeah, good, I didn't know that.
yeah,
It's like saying Velcro.
yeah. Terry, did you see that? Oh, that's, hey everyone, the prospectus is up for the show that Patty and I are chairing
Yeah,
for Chesapeake Bay Watercolorists.
yeah.
If you're not a member, please join for $30 and you can put 3 paintings in for $30 into the show and they're most probably all 3 going to get in.
Do you have to attend a meeting first?
If you're a new member and you, I don't think there is
There's-
anything that says you have to be at.
There's no requirement.
Yeah,
I mean, we would prefer it because we would like to say hello,
You were there
but
last
there's
night.
no requirement.
I thought that.
there's a
was to be-
requirement that says you, to remain in good standing,
Yeah.
you have to be at one a meeting a year.
That's true.
But if you're a new member, like I'm trying to get some of my students in my
We've had-
class right now to.
We've had a couple of members that joined like right when the show started,
Yeah,
and I mean it's okay. It's not an issue.
that's what my students, and they might not come to the December meeting because it's not a real meeting, it's the auction.
Yeah.
It is a
So-
real meeting.
It's a party.
Okay, my question is, I don't remember whether I paid my dues this year or not. I know I joined
Just-
Barbara
last
will
year.
tell you.
Oh, you
Barbara will
joined
tell
last
you.
year?
I don't know if I paid the dues this year or not.
Well,
I think I did, but I
We
don't
pay
know.
in January.
So how do I
Are you
find out?
getting
Starts in
emails?
January.
Barbara,
Barbara will tell you.
Barbara?
Yeah, check with Barbara Mitchell. If you pay dues right now, she will credit them for 2025, because I just checked with her. So if you pay dues now in December, it'll be for 2025, not for 2024, so you'll be
So it
good.
goes from calendar year?
Yes. But please join, I mean, it's gonna be at Cape Henry Collegiate, it's gonna be fun.
My God, you know it's gonna be
If
fun.
it's Patty and Sue, come on, you know?
Yeah, it's gonna be good.
Have some fun.
We've had a couple of shows there before, and they've always been really good.
Yeah,
It's a great space, and that usually when we do our members show, the awards banquet or whatever you want to call it, it's always fun.
the members' choice
Yeah,
thing?
yeah.
Oh, you mean at the,
The reception.
Reception.
The
yeah,
reception.
Yeah.
Well, by God, yes, it's gonna be fun.
yeah, we're,
That's our priority.
yeah.
Oh, God.
Have some fun.
And then, you know, we're easily accessible to you guys to ask if you have questions, but it's a no theme. It's called Beyond the Frost, but the way we worded it was, you know, we're in frosty weather now, but we're looking forward to spring and then on to summer. So you can basically put anything you want in it, although it can't be any nudes or anything because Cape Henry Collegiate is out of school. So,
Look 'em up.
you're not wet enough.
That's
Keep it wet.
You know, they may not appreciate that too much.
No.
No,
That's
they-
actually in the prospectus that, you know,
Yeah.
it's gotta be kid friendly.
Since it's a kid-friendly place, since it's a school.
Yeah. I can't paint more than an hour.
You can't?
That's interesting. I've heard people say that before. So how about everybody else? Can you paint? How long can you paint?
Till I'm crippled.
I paint,
I can go for hours.
but I'm always standing.
You're standing?
I always stand.
I paint. I can
I
paint
think
long
that's the
time.
problem I'm having is because I always paint standing. So I'm looking at it from a different
Too
perspective.
close, you're looking at it too close.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, okay.
Are you keeping your whites in those little bushes?
Mm-hmm.
Look at you.
Yeah, for some
Yeah,
snow.
did you dull your roof or did it just sink in during the time we've been here? 'Cause you went in and repainted it,
I
right?
did. I made it darker, and then what changes it is painting around it. So as I darken up the places around it, it makes the roof change. Yeah.
This painting's gonna take a long time.
This paint's gonna take me for flipping ever.
So don't feel like you have to make every little, you know. I mean, you know, there's a lot of detail in here, but you don't have to do every little.
Oh, gosh.
You paint like you know what you're doing.
Really?
That's why you'll take my class.
I should do this in pastel.
I'm making very slow progress.
That's fine. You're doing good.
You and me both.
Very slow.
No, but well, you
Okay.
have to, 'cause you can dim it down.
What part of the back of the house?
Yeah. So if you look right now, the back of my house here
Right.
is lighter than the front of my house, and if you look in the reference, it is a little bit lighter, but not as light as mine is. So I'm going to darken it up a little bit.
I like
Um,
it warmer.
I'm probably going to
Right.
might color a little more blue in here. I've got to put a little bit more work into the front porch
So it's
and,
wet
and
right now, isn't it?
tone that down a little bit. Some more blues in there.
It's not yet low.
What I'm noticing as I'm looking at this is the way I drew it. My house is turned more this way than his, so I've got a bigger facade, and I don't have as much. If you look at his painting, the reference, there's more angle going back. So my angles are not perfect on here, but you know, most of the time you're not going to see the reference picture.
Well, that's a disaster.
It's a disaster.
It's a disaster of immense proportion.
It's not good. It's not good. Tony, it's not good. But it is coming together. And we are within striking range. I'm going to paint for another 20 minutes or so. But again, there's things about it I do like.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, it's over here.
Well, I'm not throwing rocks.
That's like P. Buckley moss.
The winter show.
You'll either love her or you don't.
Right,
And then there's
right.
ways to enter right
And there are
there.
people that paid people to paint for them, to keep their name going. It'll, you know, it got.
After they're dead?
No, well, I know Kinkade had people up.
Kinkade Studio's still going.
Yeah.
Yeah, people paint for him.
P. Buckley moss did her own, but she was, I loved her themes, but she overdid it.
One's the prospectus, one's the entrance form, and then
He could reproduce it so people could buy it all across the country. But he had people painting his style that he would train them. Document for years ago before he.
Kind of like Bob Ross.
Yeah, poor guy. I mean, they make him sound tortured at the very end. Bob Ross, they made him feel tortured at the very end.
Because it was there when I
It's like-
do it on my iPad,
He
it's
was
there.
poorly
Beyond
treated.
Frost,
wasn't
there's
he?
other
Yeah.
stuff.
It was terrible.
Why is
Very
it saying
bad.
I don't know, but we don't
And he
know.
was such
Yeah.
I got a white spot between the trees, and I guess I'm gonna
Entry
turn
is
it
the middle
into
one.
a
The entry form, yeah.
ski trail or
Right.
something.
Oh, that's it.
How am I gonna cover it up?
Yeah, and then here's, this one's the labels coming down the hill.
It's me, it's my
Yeah,
phone.
here.
The labels is the bottom one.
Look at Sue.
I like each
Oh, I
other.
got it.
Got it?
Yeah.
Oh, I like your
Yeah, you've
idea.
done
We'll
something.
find out what
Here
comes
is
out.
the job. No, that's gonna be the tree, that's the tree, but right here, I don't know why I left it white.
You gonna,
Well, who knows?
Come on.
It's an
hour.
So I paint it white to add snow back.
It's a barn in the back.
But
it's an
I
awesome
have
It could be
two
any
maps.
medium, Karen,
So,
any medium.
I'm gonna two maps.
No, it has to be water medium.
Oh, well,
Where watercolor is.
that could be acrylic, right?
It could be acrylic.
It has to
because
be
that's
on
water
paper.
medium.
If you do acrylic, it has to be on paper.
Well, all of it has to be on paper.
Right.
Or
You
you
could do
go.
acrylic.
Or you go. I like you go. It's fine.
I do too, I love messy things.
Are you packing up?
I'm kind of packing.
I lost my roof. I forget my roof fixed.
All I can do today. But I'm gonna stick around and look at you guys.
You're gonna watch us, huh?
Yeah.
You do?
Yeah.
I think it's,
yours is
oh, don't, I'm trying to keep things in the background.
Oh, listen,
I have to be careful so I don't make them too
I
bright.
have no criticism.
We'll see.
It doesn't work.
Oh, wow. I'm sure it's just driving me batty.
I'm sure it's there.
I know you are.
Going in the trash.
No, it's not going like that. It's not going like that.
Well, I don't see a ski slope on yours.
Well, this should be trees, so that's gonna be gone. All this is gonna be straight.
Oh, we were just laughing.
We're watching, honestly,
I know.
and it really warms it up.
I think watching Terry build this color on color, he's continued to add all those layers. It's really,
No,
It's
see how
fascinating.
I
yeah.
like it wet, so we'll see.
Like I said, it's like playing chess, not
Right, right.
checkers.
See you, everybody.
Bye.
Y'all take care.
So now I gotta get the roof
See you next time.
Bye. See ya. Bye.
See if I can't make that work. Ally. I think I gotta go because there's some mess right now. I gotta put my trees in, I gotta wait for all that to dry.
I should have painted more in the background first. How am I gonna sneak stuff in
Oh, but
here?
I love the sky, the purple, come on. Definitely gonna be
The line here.
picking out that designer whitewash.
But, don't throw that out because that is the practice piece for when you have to soften. That's when you're gonna learn to soften. One magic eraser and you're good. Ask Sue.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, one magic eraser and you're good.
Some wet brush.
It's, do not be throwing that out. Is that- Look how playful that is.
Let me see. What are you thinking about throwing out?
He is not happy, but, and
I think,
Classes over.
yeah,
I'm thinking you're not Barb Davis, you just need to soften some stuff.
Somebody else.
See, just like I lost that whole roof line and here it comes back.
I think we're trying to get out of here
Yours
on
is
time.
light enough that you can do that.
Terry, that
Sue.
monitor,
yeah.
before it went, the zoom,
Oh.
I darkened the monitor,
Uh-huh.
so that brought your value closer.
It did.
So
But
what do you mean?
it's a
That's not
little bit too
impossible.
dark,
Here.
and
Here, Davis, I'll
you
show
might
you.
wanna,
What's the
instead of bringing the brightness
Yes,
down
'cause
as
it's a
much, you
skill
might
you're
wanna
gonna
just
learn.
push the
It's gonna
color.
happen again
You know what I
and
mean?
again.
Right.
I'm leaning.
It's
right
gonna be
here.
fine.
I'm not real sure how to push color.
Well, just go to,
I'm gonna see if I can
what is
find
it
that.
called,
I think I saved it separately.
you know how
I
it
should have.
push chroma, it'll say chroma.
Oh, okay.
It'll add more. So it has a little thing where you just slide it
We all,
back and forth.
this class and we all
I used to
painted
do
on
one of my
paintings and moved
jobs
it,
many years
put a couple
ago
layers
was
on.
making sure all the monitors in a TV station stayed
Big
the
brown
same
wall.
value.
I am not kidding you. It looked
You
like
can do it, but I don't know
velvet.
why it took the thing off.
And it turned out great
I sold the
Mr.
painting.
Clean, or whatever.
with that magic eraser.
Yeah.
I sold the painting, yep, after, I'm gonna pull it up so you can see what it looked like. Cause it was a couple years ago, so I'm gonna have to go back here pretty far, but I'll come show it to you. I'll find it and I'll show it to you.
It is great. You're gonna see a whole new, using that magic eraser. I like it. But you still have to be careful with your paper.
That's magic, or Mr. whatever.
Yeah, Mr. Clean.
Yeah. Let me see.
You
Just be
haven't,
careful.
you haven't done that yet,
Yeah.
Davis? You haven't used a Mr. Clean?
Yeah,
Yeah, I
okay.
did it on this sidewalk,
Yep.
or across
Right
the,
here? Uh-huh.
yeah.
Yep.
I am forever splaying this thing.
You're not using enough water with it.
Evidently.
Is this the scrubber they were talking about?
Yes.
How would you feel? You just-
Yeah, I gotta get in here.
Could you do some cool branches?
Yeah, if you had
Take all
time
that
there,
off.
it would be sure to get a picture
Which I'm going to have to find one
done.
now.
Or even if you have.
One day, and I don't care when, you know, because I don't do anything special, just. No, I don't care. Class and want their all those.
I got
branches.
trees
That's
here, so I'm
perfectly
not worried
fine.
about that.
Don't
Yeah, I got,
Not worried about that.
here, I'll show you, I've got three different sizes.
Okay. So then
Like
that's-
Sue said,
Okay,
something
do
you
you
could
have
buy,
this brush?
like for $10, you could buy all three of them.
No, I don't have, do you like cheap shows?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I'm willing to use this more.
And yeah, it was only like 10.
If you need a straight line.
Just
And
be-
then it makes it happen.
It's
Just in
Hi.
case you have combat
Yeah.
training.
Okay, so handy.
Yeah, it's hard to explain to
Do you know
people.
who Louise DeMassey is?
Maybe walking it behind me may not always be a good
Yeah,
idea.
yeah.
She
I worked with,
advocated for this.
a Vietnam vet,
Well, I
and
don't
he
know.
had it
Then I
bad. I
decided
mean,
to
he
get
said
it.
it.
I love it.
pay
It cleans up.
He didn't need
To me,
to, but it
No,
was
yeah.
like
I don't know anything about a shader brush.
Some people are
I mean,
worse than
down
others,
there,
that's for
I've never used it,
sure.
but this thing is fabulous.
Okay.
Sue,
For pot.
I actually pay a subscription to Louise DeMassey.
Do you? She's a
Her
joy to watch.
videos are absolutely.
This is a
I have
real
my
challenge.
beginner
Huh?
students watch her.
Yeah,
she's just
she's
fun.
really great.
Who is it?
Louise DeMassey.
Louise DeMassey.
Yeah, I like our outtakes at the end.
I do too.
Yes.
Those are
It's
fun,
making me
aren't they,
feel better
Dennis?
how
They're-
dark you got
Yeah.
your blues.
I mean, she's just
And
fun.
then here now.
Mm-hmm.
Terry's never heard of her.
Come on.
No?
Okay.
Davis told me about her. I have not really spent any time, but I'll definitely look her up because I.
You know,
Which is the black jacket, which is the, that I wanted him to bring from Anna.
Hazel Zone,
He had to take it out in the sunlight to figure out which one's blue, which
Sue.
one's green.
What's that?
Hazel Zone.
No, I don't watch
He
her.
said he figured.
Now I do watch Steve Mitchell.
Oh, Steve, Mind a Watercolor?
Mhm.
Oh, yeah, all my students watch him too. I always send out his,
I can tell you, after I find the lid,
It's a dark.
All good.
Let's see.
He does a lot of reviews
it
of
may be evergreen.
stuff.
Well, that would be appropriate.
I will say, I think Steve is pretty basic,
yes,
which is great. You know, if you're a beginner, he's really, really good.
yes, I agree.
Here, let's see.
And I have to agree with the stuff that they say,
I don't know.
and I agree with all of
It's
his
good, I can get a lot of colors in there.
instruction.
Yeah,
Mhm.
but then I'm like, I'm palettes all over the place. You know, I don't know.
I did the same thing. I got a.
When I saw him do a variegated wash,
And I take it with me everywhere. I take about.
So I have one that's called.
Wow.
This time I tried
He,
to make
he
a decision.
does a really good job of teaching him about wash.
Yeah.
Not gonna go, but it's called
Wasn't very good.
evergreen.
His wash wasn't very good.
You want some of this?
Well,
maybe I saw an earlier
Make you a
one.
big
I
old
actually-
product.
I will say that
When he said
from my
that,
experience is
and I downloaded
he's
it,
he's
I couldn't
his skill
download
level
it and
is
do anything with it.
not super high.
I went to.
Now that doesn't mean he's not a good teacher.
And how did
That just
you-
means
I just told them,
his
get
skill
whatever
level is
closest thing you can to
a little bit different.
Take paint, whatever's left on
Thank you
here.
for
It
telling
was
me.
like $1.65.
But the way he takes the
Losing my computer skills here.
amorphous block,
Yeah,
turns
no,
it into.
sometimes when they're pre.
Yeah, I like his expressive paintings. They're really they're fun.
So you just took it to on a file like you
Oh, my
got
phone.
it
On my phone.
on your phone?
And then you email it to them, and then they try to play with it for you.
Yeah, oh wow, I'm gonna do that next time.
No, I don't have them named, or I can't put it at the line, so I'm waiting for it.
I think I'm gonna use Mr. King a lot.
It's like doing a cross stitch.
Yeah.
Where do you begin? A long way to go. Yeah. Very
Was it?
pretty.
No,
You guys make your frames.
no, it was after COVID.
Who was the artist you were talking about?
Steve Mitchell.
We came back.
Mind a Watercolor is what you want to look
We came back.
That's beautiful.
up. Mind a Watercolor is a great show.
And he has tons of videos.
Tons, far from where it has to go. Lost
Let
my
me see
phone,
now.
there it is.
Let me see.
They're all
I'm
so
gonna do it
different.
this way.
Mhm, they are.
Paintings. Cause I need to save those separately.
Judy,
You do?
when I got home, I turned my artwork upside down.
And you liked it better?
Exactly the way I wanted it.
That's so funny. I'm gonna do a couple more layers on mine. And
Oh, yeah.
I just did a quick one in there with oils, just to kind of get my mind flowing.
Yeah. It
Oh, you
definitely-
did one of these as well?
No, I did a,
Judge did it quickly.
yeah, I just finished it. No, I
No,
did
oil
a
and cold wax.
more extra old wax class.
Now you're switching that to, you're switching that just because it's more beneficial to you?
What are you talking about switching it?
You're not seeing any of the white, or did you frisk it?
I didn't frisk anything.
Mask.
There's no white.
You mask.
There's no white on that tree? Okay.
That is driving me
It looks
nuts.
white to me.
Chris.
Well, that's what it
There's-
used to be called.
There's no white.
I know, I can't stop it. That's the way I learned it. I'm
What's
sorry.
wrong
And
with
that's
it?
the way it is.
Beautiful, I mean, it's like,
Oh, that's pretty.
Is that yours?
No, that's Davis's. Yes.
All the white here is so like one of my favorite videos is there's a video of
makes me feel so inadequate, oh my God.
James Gurney and he's painting a white house that's in a shadow. And he does something really unusual where he goes in and he paints the house first, and it's a white house, and he paints it. It's dark as hell, and then he paints the whole background and everything around it, and all of a sudden you're looking at a white house in the shade.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So if you look at this, is this darker or lighter? Darker. Is this? Hold on.
What's
Look
dark?
at the.
Because I'm making things too small.
And I looked at it and I'm like, what kindergarten
bigger picture.
painted on my painting?
Sue said she took and
And this is what I turned it into.
made it larger at Off Snacks.
That's what I should have. I should go home and make it larger.
But I did that from this.
That's why I can't understand how people are painting from their
And I
phones.
just
It's like,
left it on.
I could not do it.
I'm
Yeah.
just looking at color.
I do it every now and then. I don't.
Really?
Yeah. Sometimes, just for fun, I will paint without looking at the reference at all.
Oh, God.
Whoa. Whoa.
Try it.
Might be a
It's
disaster.
Do you have a photographic memory?
no, but I will tell you
Yeah,
that
so
Yeah.
that's the reference.
it helps improve your memory,
That's
and
what you got.
it helps.
You'll do that.
It helps you.
Yes. Because we were like,
Right, that's what I did.
that's why I'm saying.
I
that
once took
purple
a
is
class
nice.
and we had to
That
paint
brown was
upside
cool.
down.
Yeah.
And you were not allowed to look at the picture, you could only, it was up, we had to draw it. So they put it up there and we all had to draw it upside down and then paint it. And it was shocking how good it came out. When you
Disengage your
That's
brain.
cool though.
just
Yeah.
had to paint upside down.
Because now you're just painting shapes,
That's right. So.
and that's actually a really good thing to learn to do.
I'm just watching that get darker and darker.
To draw upside down is phenomenal. It really comes out so well.
Because you're concentrating on shapes. A lot of times, drawing right side up is harder because your brain will take over and start doing.
Right.
Oh, I want it should look like this, even though that's not what you're seeing.
I gotta come take another daggone picture.
My water's so dirty now.
coming up again.
That's fine.
I just wanna do it while you're making your changes.
So Jerry, you're gonna confirm with us
I will.
and just let us know, okay?
Yeah. I'm afraid that's what's gonna have to happen.
That's fine.
But, Terry, you have to see whether that Saturday class of Devon's is actually
Happening?
happening, yes.
Yeah. Oh, I'll check.
That may be your solution.
They didn't even plan it, but they wanted beer and barbecue and like for a holiday thing.
Yeah.
You know, and you go in there, it's a warehouse and we have all these old Commerce Store award winners that are like 80 years old.
This is the Smart Mouth down here.
So today, this was my brush of choice, this is interesting.
Which one?
It's the silver black velvet.
It's the West
Why can't you observe? Really, you don't.
Nope, can't find a one like.
Yeah, to me, this was what I liked. That's interesting.
Yeah. Made good progress today.
I liked today too, because I liked starting off watching you, and then we paint, and then you come around, and we watch some more. That was fun.
Good.
I agree.
I like it. It's a good format. We'll do more of that. Ooh, that's pretty bold. There, let's just.
Now, what dark are you using way over on that tree?
This is still my cool gray.
Cool gray, okay.
Still my cool gray.
Any ladies from around here? Richmond. How sweet.
Do we get to pick anyone we want?
Oh, I'm joking.
This is better. Are you serious?
Yeah, I think Judy's in there giving the stuff away again.
Mm-hmm. That's what it sounds like.
What is he doing?
Judy's in there giving stuff away.
Does she do that often?
Yeah. She can paint with two hands at the same time.
Wow.
Oh, really? Yeah, she's crazy. She showed me that in one of our classes, or no, one of our plein air. She just sat there.
Wow.
It's incredible.
It is incredible.
That's freaky.
It is pretty funky.
My brain is having not enough time with my dominant hand.
She's working on the same painting or two different paintings.
Same thing. She's just doing it with both hands. She did a picture of me, a portrait. Did it like that. It was amazing. She was using pencil. Saw her. She was painting at that moment.
Oh, that's fun. Thank you.
So today I learned refer back to my black and white value scale.
A lot.
A lot, yeah.
Okay, I'm trying to carry that thing on my shoulder.
That's nice.
So Terry, you prefer that gray, the Sabuchik gray, more than you do doing the burnt sienna and whatever, umber, you know, when you mix them?
I mean, it depends on the painting and what kind of mood I'm in. I definitely think that the ultramarine blue and burnt sienna is a really great combination that I'm still a big fan of. So I will use it. I don't feel like it's got to be one or the other. But in this painting, since I used it, I'm going to continue using it.
Right. Yeah.
And sometimes, I'll get some effects that, like this whole effect that's happening here, I like that a lot. It's
Which
working
effect?
for me. This little bleed
Yes.
together,
Someone done?
looking really, to me, I like it a lot. So it's different than what's there but I'm gonna keep it.
I'm just looking on your shoulder. Yeah.
Thank you. Beautiful. I will, we will.
That's very thoughtful. When you're out in water. Is yours coming out? Let me look. Turn around. Can't sit upside down.
You have the blue mask too.
Yeah. So it sort of throws things off a little bit.
It does throw things off.
It's nice.
It is nice.
It's coming.
It does have a very good sense of depth and like a hazy background, which is very nice. It feels like it's a snowy haze.
It does. And with glow. Good glow.
Yeah.
Let's hope I keep it.
You know what? I love the fact that you can go there and glow on
Yeah,
on
yeah,
snow.
You
I
got
just
some
really
Kinkades
like
glowing.
that.
Yeah.
I like the pink. Yeah, but that's not like that. That looks really good.
I'm not loving my path.
You're not loving your path?
Have you done your pack?
I've done the beginnings of it and I don't like it, so I don't know what I'm gonna do with it. I'm not making bricks, I'm just gonna make snow,
I am loving
but
it.
I don't know what I'm gonna do.
Yeah, she's
Like
so
that's snow and that's path.
Right.
It's gonna take a little bit of, like
It
just
needs a little
this.
something more.
Yeah, oh, no,
Yeah,
no, this
then
is the
it'll be
first,
good.
yeah, I'm gonna do several more on top of it, but.
It's great. I find this to be really hard because this is forward facing and this one's forward facing. And then those are that
It
way.
doesn't look like it at all, it all looks the same, so I'm gonna have to make that darker in that way.
I'll turn it upside down, really good.
All right, well, I made some progress. What do you think? Still more to go, but
Yeah.
You got this one to watch out.
You should teach me. That's my favorite brush of all.
what'd you say I should teach?
Really?
You're right, I should teach.
You should be a teacher.
Skinny line.
Wow, look at that.
Wow.
Wow.
I love the street. Are you gonna add pink in the?
I still more to go. I mean, I
I like
gotta
the feel of it.
layer some more colors in there.
Yeah.
And
add
you
some more
put the texture of the brick and the texture of the siding.
Right.
Yeah, it's coming. There's still a little bit more to work on.
It's a great picture. I love it, Terry.
Thank you.
Carrie.
I took a picture of both.
You can see, it darkened it, which helps.
Oh, yeah.
It's a little bit
That's
too.
interesting.
I would take the value down,
Yes, a
contrast
little bit.
down,
I
or
like
the
yours
brightness
better
down.
'cause it looks, isn't it